Good evening, everybody. Hope you are all doing well. Sorry we missed the live last week. Just got started way too darn late. So just ended up recording it instead. And then we'll be back to every other for the most part. Although at the end of this month, we've got back-to-back shows, so I don't know how I'll manage that. Go ahead, put it on computer key. See if I can. Sorry, my brother's messing with the computer. Yeah, we've got a decent amount of them today. There's been quite a bit with the better weather, and that streak has not stopped. Almost every single time I've checked. There's more than 10 pages, quite often more than that even. So there is no different this week. There is 15 pages, and that's last I checked here. So let me make sure the one that I 25 minutes must be logged on to view this auction. Jenny,
you're not signed in?
No, apparently not. Yeah, you need to sign into this before we get moving. Also, where the heck is everything? The entire.
You need to hide the cam first.
So
switch back to the starting screen.
Give us just a minute. It will not take long at all. Otherwise, it won't let me look at all the stuff I want to. Yeah, where's the sign-in info?
Yeah, what is going on here?
Is Morphmarket broke?
That'd be.
Is it for real?
What? There's no sign-in.
Sweet. All right, let me see if I can still do this. I think I can do this. It's just gonna be weird. Must be logged into bid on this auction. I guess I can do this. It's just gonna be a little weirder. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, as as you'll see soon, the entire top of Morphmarket is broken. I don't know if anybody else sees the same thing. If you have a chance to jump over to Morphmarket, do it on mine.
Checking.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, it's here.
Okay.
Hold on. Switch cam again. I think I might have an idea what's going on.
Oh my gosh. Alright, 1 minute.
Something tells me my ad blocker is getting a little overzealous with what it's choosing to block. Wait, no, I don't have that enabled.
Are you advocating for ad blocker?
No. Wait, no, it's not even enabled on this browser.
Let's just continue.
It's just broken.
It's not working. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to switch straight to the computer cam. And there we go. You can see the weirdness. Why is it red? Nobody can see that, right? You have it all set up all weird. But yeah, as you can see up top, there's no banner. I don't know why. There's no nothing. Can't click on anything. So it says I'm not logged in. Hey, whatever. I am, but that's fine. It'll let me view the auctions. That's all that really matters. So, like I said, 15 auctions, or 15 pages of auctions right now. And like I said, a whole bunch of great stuff this week. But let's go ahead and jump straight into it with the first one I picked, and we're gonna start and end on a bamboo. Just a spoiler alert right there. I guess before we get started, look at the comments and whatnot. Hey Macomorph, how are you today? Dickie, I think that's a salute. Good evening. Morphmarket looks good here. Yeah, I think it's just something on this computer's end because my brother's posted up right next to me, and nothing. So I don't know. It's not going to prevent us from looking at it. It's just going to say here, you must be logged into bid on this auction. Maybe it's just stopping me from bidding on things because it knows I need to. So then that's fine. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. Bob's Balls has a bunch of proven breeders that he is releasing, as he's probably making room for new stuff. And there you go, Bamboo Het VPI Xanthic. There's a bunch of other ones he's got too. I think it's like 5 or 6 of them. So if you are in the market for a proven breeder of any sort, there's some good stuff there. And you want it to be from a trusted, with a trusted breeder with a good reputation. I don't know why I can't say that. And this is the good way to go. And proven breeders are good for just about everybody. Are you adjusting my light? Now I look like...
Yeah, it looks really weird.
Now I'm way washed out. Anyways, proven breeders are good for just about everybody. If you are in the market for a female for a specific project, it's a good way to plug in right away. But if you're a new breeder, I think proven breeders nowadays with the market change are extraordinary blessings, because you can get a proven breeder before you get going, right? You can... Some people are like, oh, how do I get started? And then they hear the 3-year kind of start period from your babies, and that's a little daunting, and quite frankly it can be a little scary, because you're investing a good amount of money in something, and 3 years is a long time to wait, and that can be a lot of money sometimes to invest in certain things, all to find out maybe it wasn't for you. Granted, I'll say right from the get-go, breeding ball pythons is not a difficult thing, all things considered, but it is important to do the right steps and to do them correctly, because it is life you're dealing with. So a proven breeder can kind of get that experience under your belt and get a lot of confidence for you. And nowadays you don't have to just buy a normal proven breeder for $250 or something like that. You can buy a cool one that you can make pretty cool things with still. Not anything probably gonna blow everyone's socks off, but it's still gonna make cool things that you will be able to move, and you're gonna gain that very valuable experience and confidence, especially the experience and then the confidence, because like I said, it is pretty easy, but since you're dealing with life and fragile lives and eggs and stuff like that, the fact that you have to incubate eggs, you have to then hatch them, and then you have to deal with the new babies and getting them to eat. All of these things will gain confidence for you, and then thus you can better make a decision to invest a significant amount of money. And that's what I'm saying about proven breeders. You buy them, typically, there's no guarantee that they're going to go that year. Let's just get that out of the way, but they usually do, or a lot sooner than obviously growing out babies. But it's a way to get it going, and then you can decide, hey, I think I do want to maybe start a little bit more into this hobby. So good thing to think about if you're kind of newer as well. So Third Coast Constrictors, how are you? Ryan Robertson. Checking out the auctions is fun. Well, that's why I made a whole stick of it. So I always like trying to let people see, what's going on, especially since I know people get busy, and heck, I'm looking at these auctions all the time, but I still miss a bunch. So, Agger, I'm here. Start over. I basically am starting this. You got here right in time. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is the first one. I was about to go back and see if there was one. So, all right, shake the rust off. Anyway, all right, next up would be another one from Bob's Balls. Again, we already talked about the value of proven breeders, but there are a few others as well. But if you wanted to work into the clown project, this is a beautiful animal. It's a proven breeder that's fully grown. You can see how gorgeous it looks. So it's not changing. It's not changing at all. Vanilla is incredibly similar to Fire, if you were wondering. Pastel obviously adds the yellows and whatnot to the snake, and Orange Dream is classic. But you see there's no brownout from Pastel or anything here. The Fire brings everything together perfect, and this would be a great clown to have. It would have use for you working other clown projects, quite frankly. There's a whole heck of a lot you could do, and again, as a starter animal, if you want to get an animal that's pretty much ready to go, this one laid last September, which means it's pretty much ready to pair right now, so that it can go for the next season. This would be a good one to go, albeit this one's probably going to go for a little bit more, I would imagine. So yeah, definitely a lot more interest and double the cash on that right now. So alrighty. Next up, this would be some power right here, even though it might not look it. This is a pastel het clown, het hypo, het pied, Het Desert Ghost. That is a quad het right there. You don't see these very often, and I'm pretty surprised that there's only 4 bids in interest. Being a female at that, there's a lot of value here because there's a lot of different things you can plug into this project and use. So if you have males that are even just 2 of these visuals, you can plug them into them, and then they will go. You can also test for every single one of these genes. I'm pointing at the screen again. That's if you guys could see what I'm pointing at. There we go. So you can work your visual males to it a lot easier. Is I guess what I'm saying. And you know, of course, you could have those males have hets in them as well. And again, you can test for every single one of these. So I would, heck, I don't even know how to start. Het, well, clown DGs are still, well, they're coming down a little bit. But if you wanted to get a snake that is still budget friendly, I'd probably say clown, a pied clown. Those have come down, or a hypo clown, and then het for the other 2. That would be the greatest way to kind of go about that in terms of doing it in a budget prod. Looking at it in the frame of doing it in a budget mindset. But there's a whole bunch, and you can see kind of what they look like. I don't know if the quad head has been made. Okay, I don't know why subtitles are on either. There we go. But I should have preloaded these a little bit better. Is this the right thing? Yeah, Hypo Desert Ghost Clowns. So this is 3 of them minus the pied. So you can already see how gorgeous they look. Now just use your imagination to add pied to that and just realize how insane that's going to be. So you're going to add the blotches of white through there, the the stark whites, and on top of that, if you notice on what makes pied so great, honestly, yes, it's the contrast that it adds with the whites kind of coming through there, but it jumbles the pattern up, and whenever you have a break with the saddles, look here, even like when you have that change in pattern from one to the other, you have extreme results happening. Whether it's this incredible orange in the middle, the lavender that surrounds it, and then the black. I mean, you've got 3 colors there: a very vibrant sherbet orange, a lavenderish, almost purplish bluish, and then a black bordering all of those, and before it breaks way into the yellow of the pattern. And that's just the dorsal for cry. So now imagine that sort of break, but more extreme and all over the snake. So that's what you get, in my opinion. That's what something I don't see a lot of people think about. That's why I like my pieds to be about 75% pattern, because I want the whites in there, but I want them to be sporadic. The perfect pied to me is 2 breaks in whites here and there, maybe even a little bit more, and then some saddles all over the place, so that you have just extreme disruption, and then you have as much of this change presenting itself as possible. So, and you get these nice creamy colors from the Desert Ghost. Like I said, if you get pied into that, it's even better. So just posted some surprises on the Discord. All right, awesome. Yeah, if nobody has checked that out, my brother's already on it, I'm sure, putting a link up. No Patreon yet. We have talked about it briefly. I just haven't haven't really sat down to see what it would look like, if you get what I mean. So, hey, Swedish Fish, how are ya? But Patreon is something that we are looking into, and kind of sort of plan to do. I want it to make sense, right? I mean, yeah. All right. So this would be a really good one to do in regards to that. And it's got some weight to it too. I didn't even see that at first. This is already past, just past halfway to size. So that's an added, that's an added bonus right there. From Aura Reptiles, we have a snake from them. We got it off Palm Street, actually. So very good breeder as well. If you haven't ever checked out a Palm Street auction for some of these people, I recommend it. He actually puts on a very entertaining show himself. So let's see here. Our next one would be this Suma 100% het pied girl. I think I picked pretty girl heavy today for the most part. I don't know, we'll see if that holds true. But of course, you already know where I'm going with this. Sumas are amazing. You get this crazy amount of color. They're very dark, animals clearly, but then it's not just pitch black. They almost give off a sheen. I wouldn't quite call it a iridescence, but they kind of flirt with that in a way. And then you get these darker colors, but it's more of like a mix with some browns and everything like that. And quite often you have some chaotic examples where it almost looks like paradoxing, but it's not. It's just something that Suma does very well, and you see it for sure when you look at the pied version of that, which is of course what I am looking at right there. It is a really beautiful animal. And before we go and show it, I want to show you there's another one on here. This is a mahogany Mojave pied, possible het lavender albino as well. So you definitely want to send that to RGI for a shed test. So mahogany, by the way, is one copy of Suma. Suma is the super mahogany. It's just what they call it. I mean, if you take the first letters, it took one of these auctions. I think I figured it out here. I was just like, where do they come up with Suma? It's a cool name. Then I was like, super mahogany. If you take the first two letters, Suma. Haha. I thought it was more nuanced than that, but hey, whatever. Anyways, this is just one copy of mahogany. It's a much larger snake, however. And if you get mahogany in the mail, of course, you can still go for this and have a little bit more pieces to the puzzle, especially if she were to prove out as het lav. There's a whole bunch that you could do with that. That would be very, very cool. So before we move on to the next snake, of course, I want to show you what the Suma pied looked like, and you can see why it is my favorite of the dark pied snakes. They're extreme. They're very, very dark, but then you have this stained wood type look to it, where you have this well, perfect name, mahogany is what it is, kind of coming through, and then just these pitch black parts of it. Like I said, that's where I kind of get the idea of this feigning a paradox, where it almost it's like, oh, I'm going to be pitch black right here, and then just a little bit lighter, then a little bit darker, and then pitch black again. Again, look at that, kind of right around the saddles of the pied, which is what we were mentioning earlier there. This is what I would call probably one of the very good example of what I like in pied. Lots of little breaks of white, enough to highlight the beautiful colors and patterns that are just chaotic on this animal. Suma pieds are a bit of a pipe dream. They're not incredibly difficult to make. I mean, it's two copies of the pied, so het pied, you get the homozygous form and you get the pied. Of course, that's how every recessive works, but then two copies of the mahogany, so that makes the Suma, and there you go. So it almost treats itself like a double recessive in that regard. So once you get the ingredients in place, you can start making them pretty easily, honestly. So some comments here. 2 pastel spider, triple het hypo ultra clowns for sale. Not sure if they are auction animals though. Is this just auctions? Yeah, we just cover the auctions right now. I've thought about doing other types of lives as well. And in fact, more than thought about it, I do plan to do some other things every now and again. Just not again, just haven't sat down and flushed out what that look like. But this is just the auctions today. Those would be good animals if they are on auction. The spider gene steers a lot of people away. They just see it and they just immediately ignore. So usually you can pick them up for a bit cheaper. Hopefully they're females. If you do get in the spider, I usually recommend it being in the female, because if you get it in the male, it's breeding to everything. And then what I just said, obviously, is a lot of people just turn away from spider. So love it or hate it, you do have to acknowledge its effect on the market of the animal. I've seen animals that theoretically, the non-spider version goes for more, if that makes sense. So but the triple het, the hypo ultra clown, that is where you would want to go for that sort of stuff. So hey Car, how are you today? All right, let's go ahead and oh wait, before we move on, I want to show you how easy it is to influence the mahogany gene, or the Suma gene, to be a pitch black snake, and quite frankly, in my opinion, better than the super black pastels. It is just a jet black. There's no real bleed out on these things. A very, very beautiful animal, and all we're doing is adding cinnamon to this particular one. So one copy of cinnamon. and it ends up being pitch black. And while the super cinnamons may have that, or the super black pastels, I would imagine if you get one copy of black pastel or blackhead, especially blackhead, that they would be outstanding. I mentioned in a previous live stream, someone who's close to us and a good friend of ours, Royal Temptations, they're working on a project of Suma pieds with blackhead. I'm very excited to see if they hit that, and I really hope that they do. So that would be an incredible one too. But yeah, you can very quickly get the black ones, and the reason why I like these better is for one, there's two things about the super black pastel pieds. For one, they are very low pattern, very low. In fact, I've seen some of them that are all white, in fact. So that kind of sucks when you're going for that extreme. I already said that I like more pattern, and it's supposed to be pitch black when it's mostly white. And two, the super black pastels and the super cinnamons do throw a higher chance of getting a snake with a kinked spine. So that always is a bummer. You know, you try to get this panda pied, which is a well sought after animal. It's not, you know, and just imagine getting that, you know, a kinked snake. That would be that'd be a real kick in the stomach, or you could replace stomach with another word if you'd like. But that is not like 50% of the time or anything, by the way. It's just more common than what you would get normally. Which, by the way, if you breed ball pythons, that is something that you should mentally prepare yourself for. You will get kinked snakes eventually, especially if you breed a good amount. It just will happen, I guarantee you. And there's ways to, you know, incubate and whatnot to make it better, but it's going to happen. So yeah, I am definitely, it's like yellowy, the camera, now that I'm seeing it. So yeah, I don't know, we'll look into it between. We had to change a few things.
Few things. I had to reset my whole computer.
Yeah, Windows decided to update something that wasn't supposed to be updated, and now you get a yellow screen. Whatever, it's fine. They're not here to see me, they're here to see snakes. Alright, moving right along. And by the way, if, as always, if anybody's got questions about anything, throw it in the chat. I will definitely take a look at it. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this one, though. In the meantime, that would be this Confusion Mojave Clown Male. So we're going to do a little bit of talking about Confusion and Acid, which, spoiler alert, are not the same gene, even though they do the same thing. I think a little bit more needs to be determined into the genetic to see if they're even in the same family, but they are not the same gene. Even again, though they do the same things, really. So we have a Confusion clown boy here. We're very happy with him and hoping to get some awesome combos this year. He's a Confusion clown. I said Confusion clown male. Yeah, what am I thinking? But this one adds Mojave, and I think it does very, very well. Confusion is I don't want to say it's underrated. It's actually not. It's absolutely not underrated. People love it for what it does to the pattern, and you also hear about the bellies, which we'll get to. But I think what gets lost in translation is the fact that it does have some subtle granulation to it, and you can see it right here. This granulation within the pattern, and it kind of brightens the animal up in a very cool way, almost the way Cypress does, I feel, especially near the belly, and it kind of changes as it goes up. I mean, if you look at this one just with the Mojave, it mixes incredibly well with it, creates almost a mocha looking animal. It's very gorgeous. Oh, look at that. The second picture would have been a fine thumbnail. We were struggling to find a thumbnail, so we picked the Suma from earlier, which isn't even technically part of the auction. Sumi. This would have been a good one. Shucks. Oh well. But it's an incredible animal. I love the Confusion gene. It's one of my favorites. Especially after I saw it in my hands, an adult at that, for the very first time, and I'm, learning and seeing this thing for the first time, and realizing that it's more than just the crazy pattern. It's more than just the belly, which are obviously the highlight. But they're so darn good, they actually overshadow how awesome the rest of this animal does. So, I'm going to pick up that helicopter. The heck is that, like, over the house? Very, very gorgeous. And Acid is incredible, too. This one has even more power to it. I kind of like the Mojave, though. with it. Not gonna lie, it's really good. But the leopard being combined with confusion or acid is really good. It's always a recipe for success. Sometimes when you get genes that kind of do similar things, I mean, leopard messes up the pattern, right? It's what it's named for, is like leopardy spotty type patterns and whatnot. But sometimes they eat each other up, if that makes sense. They just do the same thing, and we're finding that out with certain other genes. Like if you look at a puzzle clown, everybody thought that they were going to be great. Not saying that they're not, and that there's other things we might be able to discover about them. They were just made, and they kind of look like a clown. It's a little bit more spectacular. So sometimes it doesn't turn out the way we thought it would. But this one is just is like an extra dose. They're absolutely incredible. You get wild wonky patterns, which it's nothing compared to what a ball python once would have looked like. You also get these starry dotty faces with a lot of little dots on there. In fact, Pastel is actually eating some of that up, and it probably would have him on its forehead too if it wasn't Pastel. So you can kind of see there. I mean, look at that. That's kind of super unique, even around the neck. Just having something called out like that. Like I said, when you're making ball pythons, they're an exotic animal, but when you kind of level it up to something like this, it's even like more of an exotic animal. It's just absolutely amazing. Here you can see what I'm talking about with the belly pattern. Yeah, hope it doesn't let me zoom up. Well, I can right there. So there we go. They have hognose like bellies. This one's a confusion leopard from Brad Boa. Some of the greatest ones I've ever seen. In fact, I think the first combo I ever saw with confusion leopard clown but well, it was at his table. Just very, very awesome animal. And like I said, they have like hognose like bellies, and bellies are not, belly pattern is not something that we really look for in ball pythons. It's just a white belly, right? But it certainly works when it works, and confusion and acid, they do that. So very cool animals here. This one has just 24 hours left. Right now this is an absolute steal. I'm surprised that this boy here has no takers at all on him. It does have a high start price, but I kind of appreciate when they do that, because a lot of other I think reserves should definitely be a thing, because I believe in options and choice. However, if I do run a auction, I will not use them. Instead, I will start it where I want it, the minimum, that is. So if I don't want to accept this animal for less than $500, that's where it's starting. And if it doesn't bid because of that, or doesn't go because of that, so be it. It's better than it going for a steal, because sometimes, I'm talking as a seller here, so I could kind of flip the switch there, but sometimes the right people aren't on. That's the one thing about Morphmarket Auctions, is you can't not do your own marketing. You need to do your own marketing. If you throw an auction out there for a Mickey Mantle, if you know who that is, the probably the most famous baseball card out there, a Mickey Mantle baseball card, and you don't tell anybody, and you started at $0, and two people show up, and then they're just like, yeah, I'll take it. You're going to be a pretty sad person. So it's kind of the same concept, just on a much less expensive page. So you got to market your own auction, and you got to make sure that people are on there. Sometimes there's a little luck to it too. I've seen the same animal separated by 24 hours. In fact, I've seen ones go for less that have more genetics in them, and then either the next day or the day before, something with less genetics, with practically the same though, goes for, I've literally seen it up to triple. So that's one thing that you're taking as a risk when you do the Morphmarket auctions. So protect yourself, do something like that. So, but confusion and acid are outstanding together. So could confusion and acid together technically work? Yeah, I mean they would both be in the snake. Albeit I think people have created, or they thought they've created, the super confusion, and it looked practically the exact same. That's why when you look on there, it says it's a dominant. So it either is a dominant, and there's a lot of thought process, by the way, on how those work. Some people think that there's no such thing actually, and that there is well, I guess it's the way you define it, right? Dominant, the way I define it is that if there are two copies of the gene present, they look the exact same as one copy. Or that maybe it's not possible, but I don't think that's the case. So, people have thought that with leopard now. People are saying there's such thing as super leopard. They look exactly the same, but you can always, the snake that breeds, it will always pass one copy of its genetic along. So I believe that's the way it would work. But that's kind of how you define it. Whereas an incomplete dominant, two copies of the genetic definitely look different than one copy. Pastel is one of those for that example. Super pastels are called killer, and they just kind of lighten up even more. So I think that I don't know if it would create anything unique, I guess is what I'm saying. But I don't know if somebody has done that pairing to figure it out, since they know now that it's not the same thing. It would be very interesting, to say the least, especially as we're trying to figure out if there is something going on with this family, since they are not the same, but yet they look the same. Do we get a cool allelic reaction if they are in the same family? I don't know if they are even, but you look at yellow belly, that family of genes, yellow belly and asphalt, look precisely the same. You get two copies of asphalt, of yellow belly together, you get an ivory, which is an all-white snake mostly. But if you get the if you get the yellow belly and the asphalt together, which again look exactly alike, you get a freeway, an incredibly unique reaction. So it would be cool if that's the case, but I don't know. That's what's so fascinating about ball pythons, is that there's unexplored territory, and us as humans have run out of actual land to explore on our Earth. So this is how we explore, is in unique ways of learning, and that's what I like about this, is that every day we're learning things. So check something here. Okay, all right. We're about halfway through, so I always like talking about the hognoses, and unlike the ball pythons, which have 15 pages, there is only a little bit of hognoses on auction. So I'm only going to talk about one of them, but you can see them all right here. Didn't take that long to see them all, but we're going to talk about this big boy right here. It's an adult male snow, and the snow is a combination of the two recessive combos of albino and exantic, something that we hope to work here when our hognose machine finally starts churning. I look over at them like as if I was like, hey, are they ready? They still got some growing to do, maybe next year for the first set, which won't be anything majorly insane, but an adult male would be a good way to get started. If you've you get a double het female and kind of work it there. He's not incredibly expensive, to be honest with you. It's a pretty good deal, and snow obviously combines the best traits and just really creates this very ghostly type animal with a very light pattern. Sometimes I've seen some of them that are almost pinkish. Just really awesome. He always looks so angry. Why does he look so angry? Hognoses are obviously one of my favorites. They're incredibly unique and goofy animals. But anything with the albino is kind of where we're going to be going with that particular route of hognoses. Albino, obviously we're going to be doing the sunbursts, albino sables, the Xanthic is in there too, and then we've got extreme reds, so a little bit more to add to that as well, so that they look even more extraordinary. So all right, but that was pretty much it. There wasn't a whole bunch of hognoses this week, so there's usually not anywhere near as much, but usually I try to talk about at least 2 or 3 of them. All right, another one that's an incredible example. This would be a pastel in-cheek clown. That is 100% het sunset though, from Chimera, who always makes great things. So more than meets the eye here for sure, especially being in a female. I always love what the Enchi clowns do for the head. We actually had a pastel Enchi clown here for a while, although he was not 100% het sunset. Otherwise he would still be here. That is the big thing there, is that you can work this to a you can get a male. The cheaper route would probably be to go clown het sunset again, but then you are trading off and always getting clown, but then you're 66%. The animals would all be either sunsets or 66% het sunsets, and you'd have a 1 in 4 chance going head to head to hit that combo. One of the better ways, in my opinion, is to work them against each other, so you get a visual sunset het clown. Although that might be a little out of price range for some people, that would be the best way to go, because albeit you're not guaranteed to always hit clowns, you increase your chances to hit sunset, and you're always now guaranteed to get when you don't hit, to get hets. There will be, because you have one visual on each side, and you'd have a 1 in 4 chance now to get the sunset clown. In fact, if you just take out these genetics here, you'd have a 1 in 4 chance to get every single combination that there could be. So one would be the sunset clown, which is the one you want the most. Then there'd be clown het sunset, sunset het clown, and then the double het, which would just look like a normal. But this one also has the pastel and inchy working for it. If you wanted to know what a sunset clown looked like, again with these subtitles, there you go. This one has spot nose as well in there. You can see just what one gene does to it. It's incredible. I've said this a few times now, but a few years ago, even beyond that, people sometimes I would hear that sunset is a genetic that browns out and you should avoid it. That is not the case. I think we should put that to bed. I mean, people were working them, I think, in the wrong direction, albeit it makes sense why they were working it into things like cinnamon and stuff like that, because it serves it to, lost my train of thought. It serves it to kind of to create that more cinnamony, reddish type look, but it kind of did it too far and burnt it out. Whereas just one genetic like banana and stuff like that just do enough to change this to this. So very, very, very awesome animal. Very good potential there, especially in a female. The reason why I think it's awesome to get that in a female is because you can grow them out, get them a little bit bigger, and in a year and a half, 2 years, maybe the prices have changed and the male sunset's cheaper. In fact, I've seen them go down now, so you can get a male sunset definitely for under $1,000 now. I've seen them at many Tinley shows. If you get them on auctions, they're I've seen them here on the Morphmarket Auctions. So in fact, am I gonna be talking about one here? No, I'm not. There's another het sunset here. So sticking with sunset, this one is a little bit different, but it is still 100% het sunset. That'd be this pastel chocolate 100% het hypo and sunset. Now this is a very intriguing combination, especially with that chocolate in there. I love what chocolate does. It obviously creates its name for the fact that it looks like melting chocolate going down the top of it. Really expands the top of it, the snake, and it's a great color. So it's very much in the dorsal, in my opinion. That's what I like looking at it, in the head of course too. But what it's hiding underneath, again, in a female, you get yourself a visual in either one of these. And again, being realistic, I know some people wouldn't be able to afford double visual, but you could either work one of the two. You could either work the hypo het sunset male or a sunset het hypo male to this, and then you could start maybe rolling the dice on that combination. So, and if you wanted to know what a sunset hypo looks like, look no further. This one has cypress as well, which makes it even more amazing, from Balls of Fury. But it really serves to lighten that up and almost bring in a different type of palette. So obviously you've got these burnt down colors, a lot of granulation in there too. Beautiful oranges just in and of itself. And then what surprised me was the lavenders that were coming in there. I was talking about this last week and how it looked like these are little TIE fighters on there too. When was I talking about that last week? Oh yeah, it was the recorded one though. They added in both of these. So it's just absolutely incredible, and the hypo is going to serve to keep it looking more like this as it ages as well. So that's a really cool one. I'd love to see this with chocolate. Like I said, I just think it would be outstanding. So especially the hypo in there to kind of keep it all together. So Christian, hello from Germany. Well, hello there. Nice to join us. I think we have someone else that's no, we do have someone that comes by on the streams as well, from was it Belgium, right? I think it was somebody. Never mind, Jenny. I have a quad het male Same, but champagne. Thanks for this video. Yeah, no problem. That's awesome, though. And champagne is definitely going to throw some chaos into that. No doubt about that. I've seen some crazy things with champagne, how some people write it off. And it is very difficult to work. The most difficult gene out there, in my opinion, to work. But when you can get it, it's just insane. The black matters. The key component there is champagne. If you haven't seen what a black matter looks like, you know what? We got time. Black matter ball python. Want to find the new ones from Chris. There we go. The blackhead, champagne, cinnamon, Barnhart, black pastel. I think that some of those we're still trying to figure out what's all in it, but like it's incredible. It's the most black snake. It literally, I mentioned earlier how some of them have an iridescent, how it kind of did that other one. These do have an iridescence. I've seen them in person many times, like as in like slight colors of that chrome as you move them under a light. Like that's not up for debate. It straight up does. And then it has this cool, the white from the belly just creeping up on it, almost like it wants to break through. I've seen some of them kind of do that ringer type look, but what I love about it is it doesn't stop when it reaches the head. That is over the lip, by the way, ladies and gents, so it goes to the eye, and I've seen some of them go straight through the eye, that white, so it looks like a white-lipped python. So that's one of my favorite snakes out there too. So like I said, that's the power of champagne. Also has the power to mess up everything too, though. But yeah, that's a crazy awesome combo quad hit with that. So all right, let's see here. Moving along to this pastel puzzle het desert ghost, another one that has a incredible amount of potential. Because pastel works good with desert ghost anyways, so it'd be a great one to get in there whether you wanted it or not. I'll never get tired of what puzzle does. I mean, it does affect the head there almost like an inchy, like a super inchy, quite frankly, and then just what it does to the pattern really pulls up. If you can even see it on the side there, I've seen other examples that do it even more. But I'm pointing at the screen again, but right there it kind of pulls it up. I've seen ones go all the way to the middle of the snake and just puts that pattern right on the dorsal, which is always a good display animal, because when you're looking down on an animal, I mean, that's really what you're looking at. So from Hulker Serps here, that's an incredible animal. This boy here, you could easily get a female that's Desert Ghost Het puzzle and work them against each other like we were mentioning to get that DG puzzle combo. And if you were again wondering what that looked like, I will not disappoint you. There you go. It is a very bright and beautiful animal. You can see like how on the head there, how it just washes out completely, but then borders it with this emboldened black. Just insane. The dorsal pattern immediately starts being wild and wonky, just running down it like a zipper. When you get down here, just look at the creamy sides, and it's almost like backwards, right? Usually you have the pattern have like some sort of color in there, and then it's bordered by black, but it has flipped it on its head, where now the pattern is black, it's bordered by white, and then the color is the cream. It's like it flipped it on its head. It's wild and absolutely crazy. You can see what I'm talking about right there, though, where the pattern kind of shoots all the way up to the sides there. Just absolutely incredible. And that is not difficult to run. Look at the price on that right now. How much time is left? About 2 days. That's incredible. This is a visual puzzle. All you gotta do is get a DG het puzzle to then have a very real chance, a 1 in 4 chance at getting this, because that's pastel as well, by the way. It'll look gorgeous with or without pastel. This is one of the better deals, and I feel like with 3 bids right now, this is underrated, big time, especially from a good breeder like Chad. It's definitely worthy of attention, this project. I for sure think that someone is going to be very, very happy, especially if nobody starts paying attention to this. So, Wasabi from Las Vegas. Wasabi. All right. I think we only got couple more. Oops, I kind of gave a steal there. Oh well. And that'd be this redhead clown. We'll go ahead and look at that one first. Redhead is a very subtle gene. Might be one, well, it's not one of the most subtle. You can tell when redhead's in there. They got a little bit of a rusty head pattern there. So even on a basic snake, but it doesn't look like much. Just one copy of redhead. So I call it a very subtle gene. And when you get it into certain combinations, it really starts to shine. Much similar to lace, much similar to yellow belly, much similar to a lot of those subtle genes that have a incredible glow up when they're comboed with other things. What's so cool about this is that there's so many different things that we're discovering all the time, and the subtle genes make incredibly big differences. And it's not just because they add just a little bit, just enough to make it a little bit of a difference. No, quite frankly, without them they don't look the same. If you don't believe me, go look at a Pompeii clown, but without, well, I guess Pompeii is a clown, but look at a Pompeii minus the yellow belly gene. It is a different animal. It's gorgeous, but it is a different animal. The combination from yellow belly, what it does is more, a lot of people think it named, it's just like, oh, it's just yellow belly, right? It just has a little bit more yellowing to it. No, it blows up patterns. Again, look at a zebra yellow belly. Look at a zebra versus, zebras are amazing. They're zigzag patterns along the back, but look at it with yellow belly in it. It is a completely different story. So these subtle genes, even though we're not talking about yellow belly here, we're talking about redhead, make a huge difference. And you can kind of see it here too. Before I show you some other examples of it, here's a little bit, probably one that's going to be a little bit cheaper, I would imagine, in the end. This is still a really good deal. This is a male and a female, by the way, as well. So this one has more genetics in there, and it's head clown. So that's the upside to that, is it's a female, and it has leopard in there too. Really awesome chance to get something amazing here. All you gotta really do is put a visual clown to it with some other cool things in there. Probably would recommend yellow belly, by the way. But a very, very cool animal that you can grow up and put into some crazy projects. They're gonna be closed captioning on this one. I guess we'll see. But look at some of these examples of redhead clowns. This is just redhead and clown, by the way. There is a lot of variety I've noticed in there. You can see there's just so much granulation on the top. It just looks like a rusty tear going down the dorsal of the snake. The red has just bled into it. Just like I said, just two things right here. It's so nuts, so cool, so beautiful. Just a really cool opportunity for somebody here with either of these two to do some really great things. Like I said, that's just the extremities that it shows in terms of just what it changes. It's just so insane. So much granulation, so much chaos going down there. And that's what you're flirting with redhead. Another subtle gene that some people look at it and they go, why is it so much? And they pass over it. I mean, I still remember when people did it with yellow belly. Heck, I'm kind of sort of guilty of that. I passed on a snake that was $500 more with yellow belly, and I still have that its sibling here, and it ended up proving out his head pied too. Very useful and beautiful animal, but I had a chance to get the yellow belly one, and I was just like, well, I'd love it. I'll pass for $500. And now I kick myself many years later in terms of what else I could have done with that, and just how useful that would have been. So don't make that same mistake, especially with the prices not even being that much of a swing off than they were when I was talking about. Don't make that mistake. So all right, moving along to our very last one. I said we were going to end with a bamboo. This one has more of an extreme look to it. It's not really so much, I mean, it could be for a breeder, clearly, but it just shows you one of my favorite genes. So this isn't really something super duper nuts because it has no recessives in there, but the bamboo is one of my favorite genes, and it shows you some of the insanity that you can do with it. Bamboo is difficult to work. I know this, and I don't care because I love it. And this shows you kind of there, and that's the combination, by the way, of the bamboo and the sugar going together. And I like sugar better than calico, quite frankly. I think sugar is more extreme. They do very similar things, and sugar just seems to do it more. It is absolutely nuts. Another very underrated genetic. Although I say that, but I had a calico once that had an extreme look to it. Not like this though, but sugar and calico brings up the sides and usually creates a little bit of spottiness, I'd say, and brings the whites up on the sides. That's why when you get combinations with bamboo, it does this. It really just wipes out the sides and create a whitewash side with little teeny blots in there. But then you get what the bamboo and the pastel all do together. Bamboo and pastel is difficult to tell when they first are born, in my opinion, but later as they age it's easier because it becomes this more golden. That's what it looks like. It looks like golden, like golden flecks down there, and it really contrasts incredibly because of the white on this animal. It's very incredible and cool, unique individual, no doubt, but you could create this yourself with bamboo and sugar. And this is incredible. This is extreme. And might I add, this is a proven breeder adult. So this is what she looks like. This is the snake you get when it ages. Everybody says snakes, oh, they age, you know, ball pythons age. This is literally gold going down its spine. It's amazing. So, but yes, this one is for sale. What's her age? So she is, yes, sorry, I'm all over the place, 21, 77 grams. So she's ready to go. Looks like she laid eggs, produced one clutch for me in 2023 and 6 eggs. So more than ready to go. It's had a year and a half off or so. You can tell this one has a high starting bid. I honestly struggle to wonder if this one will sell at that price because people will look at it just from a strictly breeding project rather than the extraordinariness of the animal. But I appreciate and applaud the fact that they put it up there and put it where they want it. They won't pass from it for anything less than that, because then it tells you, like, hey, don't waste your time if you're not gonna do that. So it's like, all right, sweet. But that's incredible. So wish my life would let me yeah that's why you gotta do it yourself, and then it pays for itself, and then, you know, you keep the money within there, and then you can do whatever you want with it because the business is paying for it, or the hobby is paying for it. So is that gold and white or black? Oh, I get it, man. You would always you get it, right, Jenny? The dress. That's the dress.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find the dress meme. Notice how I have to do it on a different screen? Yeah, that's the challenges of doing live. God knows what you find. Oh, and I'm gonna post the results of that actually too, and why people would see one or the other. It was actually it was literally a lighting trick that they admitted, and you can see it right here. But there you go. It does look like that. So it's actually a gold and white dress, but with the shadow, it becomes black and blue. Interesting how lighting works, right? Yeah, very very astute observation there. That's hilarious. Let's see. I wouldn't even sell it. Neither would I. If I had this animal, no way. Often having a cool animal like this is helpful if you're doing shows and stuff like that. It helps to have a mascot. It really does. There's somebody who vends with us, large caliber constrictors, and they're always our buddy. They're always to our right, and they have a snake that's eyeless. You can actually check them out on YouTube too. He has a channel as well, and you can actually see, he shows that off quite often, and it's an incredible animal. It's a female, and it's big now. It's not a little baby. They've gotten it a little bit bigger. They don't plan to breed it or anything like that. It's just something they bring and show as learning, and think about this, and not only is it cool to have people buy in and get interested and watch that that sort of thing, maybe the fear turn into fascination. I've seen it literally unfold in front of my eyes, from someone who didn't want to touch a snake to now someone who's saying, I need to learn how to this so I can buy one. And then they come back the next month after they've gotten everything and learned everything, and then they buy one. That's an incredible feeling, more than anything. But just from a sales standpoint, if you're just taking all emotion out of it and talking monetary here, it brings people to you and has people talk to you and has people engage in conversation with you. And that is the biggest thing to overcome in any salesman type venture. I have worked sales in some regard pretty much my entire life, and I can tell you that is it. It is an adversarial relationship, and once you can break it and talk to them and just have a conversation with them rather than trying to shove stuff down their throat, that is where real conversation and real things happen, and it gets people to let their guards down so you can milk them for. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it lets people know that it's a human interaction rather than some robotic thing. Like, think about like how horrific it is to go to shop for cars or maybe something else. Like, even if you go to Best Buy and go look at the TV section, oh my God, like, just leave me alone. And no, I don't want your HDMI cables plated in gold. Way off topic there, but it does help to have an animal that's extreme like this. So I've seen people buy animals that are extreme like this just for that purpose, just for the purpose. They will never breed them ever, but they will show them off to bring people to as a mascot, essentially. So very cool, very good strategy, quite frankly. So yeah, what do you think of the black pastel GHI spot? Actually, sitting at 46 hours. I will check it out here in just a second. Milk is good though. I think I'm turning 40. Most dairy products are becoming. I like dairy, but they're becoming adversarial to me. All right, let's look at that one here. Or what am I doing? I didn't need to open that. I can just go back to the front page here. Did we miss this one? Shucks, we did. This one ends in 4 minutes. It already shot up to 600. Dang it. Alright, we'll take a look. Again, I can't search or anything. I can search by traits. What did you say it was at? 46 hours? Let me refresh. We'll just find it that way. What is going on? Maybe you can figure that out, Johnny, when we're done here.
Yeah, it just appeared, didn't it?
Oh my God, it did! So it had nothing to do with this. Maybe Morphmarket was messed up, but just for me. Alright, we'll find it here. 7, 8. I think we're here. Maybe not quite. Did you say 46 hours? Make sure GHI spot. Let's see all the. Okay, there's a GHI right there. Probably next page. Come on. Where are you? There we go. I think this is it. Black pastel, GHI, spine on yellow belly. I thought for a second that didn't have any eyes. It's very gorgeous. There's a lot going on with it. The only things that I would say in terms of a breeding project is that for better or worse, most people are immediately looking for a recessive to be in there. With that said, you could breed something like this temporarily to create said hets and then go from there. But I think that this one will end at a very favorable price, and there is something still to be said about these types of looks. Again, I said for better or worse because I truly do believe that. I understand why recessives, in terms of just monetary value, why they hold it, because quite frankly they're harder to make. So that's why I mentioned that really quick. But in terms of just pure beauty of what the animal is, it's very gorgeous. I think that like you said, I like the ghostly sides. I wonder what could bring that out even more. Well, I'd say desert ghost, but there's the recesses right there. Probably maybe that's something like lace or something like that too. What's cool about this though is that you are actually sitting on top of quite a few of the genes here that make up a Pompeii. Just getting the GHI in there, instead of the red stripe. That's the gene. We actually have a GHI black pastel. See if it's she's good. She's not breeding this year. Good girl. Yeah, you are. She'll be ready next year. The cool about these lives is I get to show you things. Yeah, there we go. Get back in there. She is a GHI black pastel red stripe, yellow belly cloud. So, kind of like that sort of stuff, but you can see what the extreme things. Just a few. Oh yeah, I forgot the camera's terrible. Hey, it's okay from over here. It's not getting quite as extraordinary as she is, but I can't get really close. But yeah, we want to hit all the coolness that you can hit with that. So, oh yeah, that was smart. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, she's a lot darker than the camera showing. You can see it like bleeding out there because of the light. I wonder if I put up a black screen, if that would help, or a darker screen. Where's a snake with a black background? That's a good point. That'll do. Now it's green. Now I'm green. It kind of still does the trick though. You can see it like how. Remember we talked about lighting earlier? Yeah, lighting's important. Taking pictures of your snakes and the correct lighting is very important. And also when you get the snake, don't be surprised if it looks differently. It wasn't a trick. If you put it in a different light. Don't look at me that way. See this? Don't look at me that way. I feed you. Yeah, very, very gorgeous though. You get a little closer now too. So, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's in there too. So, I don't want recessive in this particular set of females. I'm looking for a male in. Well, there you go. I have a lot of light genes and females. Fire, lesser, vanilla, pastel, etc. Yeah, I mean that would be a good one to do then. If you were looking for that, if that's specifically what you're going for. Let me see if I can get her off right now. Come on, let me go. Let me go. I'm gonna have to pull you. There we go. I guess I have to go back in there. Alrighty. But yeah, it's a very nice one. Where was it? Oh yeah, it was right here. So, kind of reminds me of the just more pronounced in the adult too. Oh, I forgot that I was not. We won't talk about that. I'm taking this picture on a pool table. They are straight up. I got it. We need to buy a pool table, Jenny. Anywho, yeah, still an extraordinary animal though. There's a whole bunch you can do with that. I mean, all of these genetics are great. That's what's so cool about this. Yellow belly and spot nose always work great together. GHI is great. Black pastel is great. These are all wonderful genetics, and there's so much you can do with that. One other thing you could do is put it into a highway. I mean, it already looks like one. So what that would mean, not an actual highway, please don't do that, would be get asphalt, the genetic, and put it into there. That would be a wonderful one to do. I'd be very curious to see what that looked like. So, yeah, I think that it's going to go for a favorable amount at that too, but we'll see. Just curious if the seller was ball and hand pythons. So, all right, go ahead and pretty much start to call it there on our last one. If anybody's got some quick questions or anything like that, let me know. We'll probably wrap it up here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, if not. In the meantime, while I wait, see if a lot of them are breeding though. See if this dude is in. Hey, you're not shit. Show my monarch off. About him. He's a full. Aw, man, this lighting sucks. Turn the light back on. Let me get this out too. Get a new tab like you suggested. Did we get the light from the there we go. The light from the I turn that one down. Turn it down. If you don't mind. Actually, you just turn it off again.
Can actually see the buttons.
So, yep. But he's a full-grown adult. Monarch is obviously one of my favorites. Absolutely love what it does. He is awesome. We're going to be making our first visuals. We already made a lot of double hits last year. Still so much more to do with this. It's so cool. But, okay. I didn't see anything else new, so I think we'll go ahead and call it there. Nailed it there, buddy. Alrighty. So I appreciate everybody joining as always. We should oh wait, there's one. Tried to buy a mail from someone, still waiting for a response on Morphmarket. Yeah, some people are more available than others, and of course there could always be on vacation or something like that. So I thought I remember seeing something about how you could have an auto button that says you're on vacation. So yeah, it can depend. Some people are more available than others, so definitely do your research and ask questions, though. That is a for sure good idea. So, what is our next video? What are you working on? The Google or not no. Google, or is it the feeding guide?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a feeding guide from when we first started. And we're basically updating it and adding a bit more to it, and modernizing it. Plus, I changed my opinion on quite a few things and straight up say I was wrong about something in the last video. Well, it's opinionated wrong, so I could change my mind and be right again. But no, just changed my mind on a few different things, and definitely thought it's a good subject. It was one of our better or more popular ones, I think, too. So I thought it was time to modernize that and get my thoughts a little bit better across. Like I said, it was a much older video, and kind of just go over the types of food that you can offer your ball pythons. You know, the types of ways that you can offer it for them, pros and cons of all that sort of stuff. Am I missing anything? I don't think I am. You're looking at memes. So. Look at him. He's looking at memes. He's not paying any attention to me. He's looking at memes. Can you share the meme, or is it not PG? Oh, you closed it. It's not PG. Anyways. And then I think after that, we also have something with like popular questions that were on Google. Like if you type in ball python on Google, something like that, you know, we answer kind of the questions as best we can. So but yeah, other than that, I think next week we'll probably do a recorded one again, and then kind of just flip-flop it every single time. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Appreciate everybody coming out and giving us a watch, and we will catch you in the next one. All right, let me see if I can get this. What do we got to do? End, right? End screen. Full screen blank, end screen. There we go. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.
You didn't mute the right one. You muted the music.
All right, bye, everybody.